This was the reasoning for why they need a second impeachment of Donald Trump. If you didn't catch that segment, it's on my channel, youtube.com/TimCastNews. But now we're moving into the full girth of Donald Trump's retribution, as they call it. You see, after the impeachment trial ended with Donald Trump's acquittal, he immediately started removing key figures like Vindman and Sondland, but also Vindman's brother. Now, I think it's a bit heavy-handed for sure, but I do get it. These people serve at the pleasure of the president. If he's not confident in their abilities, then yeah, he's going to get rid of them. And to be honest, Barack Obama did way more. When he first got elected, he went after tons of people. We're now learning that in the wake of the impeachment trial, Trump scrubs 70 Obama holdovers from the National Security Council. Cue the collective screeching from the Democrats, even though Obama did the same thing. So they can't stand the double standards, right? I mean, Trump needs to make sure he has a group of people who are going to be working in such a way that everyone is in it together. If you have people who are unhappy, then it makes sense to get rid of them. The only thing that surprises me is that Trump didn't do this in the first place. Why? Obama did. Obama went after tons of people, and he straight up said, if I can't trust the loyalty of these individuals, blah, 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 blah. I get it. Now they're saying Trump should be impeached a second time. Let's read the news from the Washington Examiner. They report, President Trump is making good on his promise to drain the swamp and cut Obama-era holdovers from his staffs, especially the critical and recently controversial National Security Council. Officials confirmed that Trump and National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien have cut 70 positions inherited from former President Barack Obama, who had fattened the staff to 200. Many were loners from other agencies and have been sent back. Others left government work. The NSC, which is the president's personal staff, was rocked when a whistleblower leveled charges that led to Trump's impeachment. Last week, one key official who testified against Trump at a House hearing on the Ukraine affair that led to the impeachment was sent packing. Now, let me stop right there and just tell you, the whistleblower complaint was wrong. It alleged that Trump said no less than 7 times quid pro quo over and over again. Sondland himself testified. Trump said, I want no quid pro quo. Do I trust any of these people? No. I don't trust Vindman, Sondland, or Trump. I don't trust any of the other witnesses either. I don't care. Give me evidence. Give me proof. If one of your star witnesses, Sondland, claimed Trump said no quid pro quo, what do you want me to say about it? You want me to call him a liar? I don't know. I just don't. Maybe it makes sense for Trump to then fire a guy who flip-flopped and then said no quid pro quo. How is it retaliation if Gordon Sondland actually said Trump said no quid pro quo? I get it. He said there was an implied one, so it was a bit wishy-washy. But hey, look, at the end of the day, these people serve at the pleasure of the president. There's no criminal proceedings here, and the whistleblower complaint was wrong. I'll tell you what I think happened. Based on the trial, we know it was likely Vindman who leaked information, and I mean that in the colloquial sense, not the literal legal sense. Like, he basically went to this whistleblower dude, complained about it. Whistleblower dude thought it was worse because we're playing a game of telephone, filed a complaint against the president, which led to his impeachment, and it was just not true. One of the smartest things Trump could have done was release the transcript, which he did. Yeah, and the whole thing was complete BS. Let's read on. They say Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman was returned to the Pentagon. His twin brother, Lieutenant Colonel Yevgeny Vindman, was also given the boot. Trump had expressed displeasure that Alexander Vindman had testified against him when the Ukraine specialist said he did not like the phone conversation between the president and a newly elected president of Ukraine. Yes, but Trump also said, and maybe they get this, they pointed out, Trump also said the dude had terrible marks. The people who worked with him said that he was not a good dude. He had bad judgment. And so Trump's getting rid of a guy with bad judgment just because he complained about the president doesn't make him immune from being, from being fired. He wasn't even fired. He was just relocated. He was reassigned. He's still getting paid. Since entering the White House, Trump has relied on staffs smaller than previous administrations and has noted how prior presidents had a much smaller NSC team. O'Brien recently said that former President George W. Bush handled the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan with 100 NSC aides, a model he is instituting. Quote, this month, we will complete the right-sizing goal Ambassador O'Brien outlined in October, and in fact may exceed that target by drawing down even more positions. John Ulliott, the NSC's senior director for strategic communications, told Secrets. Is that the person's name? Anyway, that's basically the story. We have this. It's not just about, getting rid of the NSC staff. There's a lot going on. White House has identified and will cut ties with, quote, anonymous, amid sweeping Security Council layoffs. Remember that book, A Warning? And it was like, Trump is evil, we got to stop him and all that stuff. Apparently the Trump administration found the guy and they are going to be letting him, them, they go. Let's read the story. And then I've got another story about Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, if we get to it. The Daily Caller reports the White House has identified and will soon part ways with the anonymous official behind a recently released book and a resistance-focused editorial published in the New York Times. Former U.S. Attorney Joe DiGenova claimed Monday morning. DiGenova made his claim on WMAL's Mornings on the Mall, but senior White House officials declined to comment on the topic when asked by the Daily Caller. In the book, A Warning, released in November, the anonymous official states, there is a group of White House staffers actively hoping for President Donald Trump's downfall. That should be a red flag to literally everyone. The president is never going to have all of your personal ideals. There will never be a candidate who represents you 100%. And that means we have to respect, as a republic, sometimes you get a guy you don't like. Sometimes you got to accept that because people voted for the guy. If they're actively trying to stop the pilot of our plane, we're in serious danger. They talk about the threats of Russia and China. Yes, please stop rocking the boat. So what do? But Trump is the threat because he's working for Putin, they claim, for 4 years without evidence. Even after it's debunked, they just won't shut up about it. These people are nuts, and they probably need to go. White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham previously called the anonymous official a coward, and the claims within the book nothing but lies. Quote, real authors reach out to their subjects to get things fact-checked, but this person is in hiding, making that very basic part of being a real writer impossible, she said in response to the news of the book's release. Just prior to the book's release, the Justice Department took steps towards possibly unmasking the official. Joseph Hunt, Assistant Attorney General for the Civil Division, sent a letter to the anonymous official's publisher and literary agent asking about the official's access to classified information. Quote, if the author is, in fact, a current or former senior official in the Trump administration, publication of the book may violate that official's legal obligations under one or more non-disclosure agreements, the letter reads. Not only that, John Bolton wrote a book and he had to get it cleared because there is information that may be confidential. This person seemingly bypasses that by just being anonymous and the publisher just publishes it. There may be some criminal acts in there, depending, but probably not. I don't want to exaggerate or pretend like it's worse than it really is. The dude came out. Apparently, Trump found him. He's gone. It's kind of over. Trump and National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien are cutting 70 Obama-era holdovers from the National Security Council, the Examiner reported Monday morning. The most public of these firings was that of Lieutenant Colonel Vindman on Friday. Vindman testified during the impeachment inquiry, and everyone knows what happened next. Which brings me to the next story. Medal of Honor recipient says Lieutenant Colonel Vindman was a spotlighter whose own peers wanted him out. Remember at the trial, you may have missed this. I think it was Nunes who said something like, maybe not. Someone said Mr. Vindman, and he goes, that's Lieutenant Colonel. And everyone immediately was like, whoa, dude, chill out. I saw some people on Twitter, some veterans and some active, I think they were veterans, former, in the armed forces saying things like, how like to an average person in the army or, any military branch, like correcting a civilian for getting your rank wrong is one of the pettiest things you can do. And it was a complete sign of disrespect. This dude did not come off like an honorable soldier. He came off like a whiny brat who was mad that he wasn't in charge and that the president wouldn't listen to his opinions. I'm not saying this because I know anything about the guy and want to disrespect him. I'm saying he came off as somebody who claimed he was the advisor to the president and then got mad because the president didn't care about his opinions. And sure enough, other people are pointing out similar things. The caller reports, Medal of Honor recipient MSG Leroy Petrie, I don't know, what is it, Master Sergeant, defended President Donald Trump's decision to fire Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, saying that Vindman had shown he couldn't be trusted. Petrie made an appearance on Sunday morning's Fox and Friends and responded to the news that Vindman had been fired from his post on the National Security Council and escorted from the White House. I respect Donald Trump's actions on escorting him out of the White House because he, as a team player, he should have brought it up through the chain of command and then blown the whistle if it didn't get approved, Petrie began. So exactly my insight is, I would fire him too. I can't trust you on my team if you can't bring me things you don't agree with. That's a really, really good point. Whoever Vindman's direct boss was, he should have expressed all of this and raised an official complaint himself if he took issue with what was going on. Instead, he went to a third or fourth party. He wasn't even speaking on the phone call. He just got really angry that his opinion was being neglected, exaggerated through a game of telephone, and it escalated to an impeachment, and that's on him. They say that Petrie went on to address the fact that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and numerous others, including Joe Biden, on the New Hampshire debate stage, had lauded Vindman as a hero, saying, I think this. I respect his service. I understand he is Purple Heart recipient. Being a Purple Heart recipient doesn't make somebody a hero. I'm sorry. Really? It's interesting. I appreciate your candor. Host Pete Hegseth, also a veteran, jumped in. Wearing the uniform doesn't make you immune from criticism, especially on the National Security Council. It has now been identified you're probably a part of leaking, certainly a part of a concerted effort to hurt the president. Well, I'll stop there. I respect the point Hegseth made. The uniform doesn't guarantee you that, immunity from criticism. Absolutely. I don't think it's fair to call Vindman a leaker, though. I think he was just a disgruntled employee who didn't want to, actually go through the chain because maybe he didn't really have that much confidence in what he was saying. Maybe the real issue was that he was just angry and he went to somebody he shouldn't have and started talking smack, and that person triggered the impeachment inquiry because that person, Voldemort, as I call him, because I'm not allowed to say his name, decided they would use this to their advantage because they had been planning this for a while. I don't think this necessarily means Vindman did anything on purpose. He might be just a cog in the machine, but he's certainly irresponsible. And if Trump's going to get rid of him, well, too bad. It's not retaliation. Trump should have done it a long time ago. I will leave it there. Stick around. Next segment's coming up in just a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.